that we have signed with JPL for the acquisition of their 4 into 1000 megawatt asset Tamnar. Now most of you would be aware of this asset. This was commissioned in somewhere in 2007-2008, and this was probably the asset which lured a lot of people into the power sector, so it's a well-known asset. The asset has historically been performing very efficiently. The contours of this deal are two-tiered. There's a flexibility involved in the valuation. The base valuation, subject to, of course, the fulfillment of standard CPs and approvals, etc., is 4,000 crores or 4 crores per megawatt. However, subject to two additional conditions, which is that if the seller is in a position to tie up the complete fuel for this project, as well as secure an offtake arrangement which assures the purchaser of a minimum assured level of returns. In that event, the value of the deal will be increased to 6,500 crores or 6.5 crores per megawatt. The long stop date for the deal has been kept at 30th June 2018, and this will primarily give the seller sufficient time to be able to meet with the additional CPs, as well as to procure the various approvals which are required. The deal also involves the payment of an interest-bearing advance of 500 crores, which will be paid by us to the sellers after the shareholders and the CCI approvals have been obtained. Now, these are the broad contours of the deal, and before I take questions from you, I would also sort of like to apologize to you for having cancelled the last press conference. What had happened was that we had set ourselves some very, very aggressive timelines, and we could not meet those timelines, and consequently at the last minute we had to cancel it. So, Pramod, unless you have something further to add, we can...
Hi, Nita Poddar from Just one question I wanted to know, 3,500 odd crore rupees, which is like part of that 4,000 crore rupees, considering at the moment, hypothetically, that the PPA will not be signed, which will increase the value of this deal. So that 3,500 crore rupees, is it being given by lenders to JSPL at this point, and are you, JSW Energy, giving any comfort for that to the lenders? And and if you can break up the exact debt that is there, because it's very confusing as to how much debt exactly is being taken on by JSW from the plant.
Right. To answer your question, as far as if the lenders are giving anything, is a question you'll have to ask JSPL. As far as JSW Energy is concerned, we are not giving any sort of, we have not been asked to, and we are not giving any sort of comfort to any of the lenders. As of now, this asset is debt-free.
It's debt-free?
Yes.
So the 500 crore rupee upfront discussion that is going on after the deal is completed, over and above that, the remaining 3,500, where does that come from? And across how long will you make that payment?
I think a finance-related question, I'll ask Pramod to respond.
No, the balance consideration will be paid only at the time of closing by JSW Energy, and as far as our funding is concerned, we have generally been funding most of the power projects or acquisitions through a 75-25 debt equity. We are fairly comfortable as far as funding is concerned, which could be done partly by way of debt and partly out of internal accruals.
So this is purely cash. You're not taking any component of the debt that JSPL has.
Currently, they don't have any debt, so they don't intend to. In context to this plant. So let us say in case there is any debt which happens, it will automatically get reduced from the purchase consideration which is payable.
But later.
The 4,000 crores would be 4,000 crores plus
net current assets.
So what is net current assets, sir?
Net current assets is a very small amount currently.
What does it mean? I mean,
it is nothing but the, let us say, the debtors and inventory minus the creditors.
But you just now said there is no debtors. Then
no debt.
No debt. Not no debtors.
No debt means the long-term loans, not the debtors.
I'm sorry, this is the one-on-one, so how much is the press conference? So you need to give time for other channels.
is the component of the net current asset?
Its net current assets will be determined at the time of the closing.
So nothing which we would know now.
You will not know about this. Let us say in a normal operating power plant, it will generally, let us say, be about 30 crores or 50 crores thereabouts.
So if Jindal is going to get a payment only by the end of 2018 or by 2018, why? What is the logic for them to sign this deal? I mean, end of the day, they are in a lot of debt. I mean, the reason why they did this deal was to cut down the debt, and now you're saying that this payment will be made only by 2018.
And why have you given 2 years in the first place? If you could elaborate on that. It's very perplexing, that time period, sir.
Mr. Sagar, can I take a question? I waited very patiently.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Can you answer
I'll answer them both. I'll answer them both.
So I have 2 questions. Firstly, I understand that the deal has a long gestation period.
Yes.
If you could throw some light on the timing of this deal. It comes at a time when the sector is going through troubled times. So many believe that this is nothing but merely a bailout for Navin Jindal and JSPL. That's the first question, if you could address that. Secondly, if you look at the enterprise value of the deal, the original enterprise value is linked at about 4,000 crore rupees. Then you say that going ahead, based on certain conditions relating to fuel security and signing of long-term PPAs, it might go up to 6,500 crore rupees. So we're talking about almost more than a 50% premium. Could you also explain the rationale behind that?
Right. Okay. So now to start answering your questions, why we have given a 2-year period. See, a deal of this sort which involves that JSPL or JPL will have to first hive off this asset through a high court scheme, and then there are various approvals that are required across various agencies of the government. Our past experience has been that this takes about anything between 1.5 to 2 years. That is number one. Then, as I said, that there is a second option to the deal, the flexibility in the valuation, and in all fairness, we wanted to give them a reasonable amount of time to be able to secure that and get a higher valuation for the deal. Now, coming to your question. See, JSW Energy has never made a secret of our aggressive plans for inorganic growth, and we've always maintained that we continue to look at good assets at good value. Now, in the process, if JPL is getting helped, that is only incidental. It could have been anybody else if I had got an asset which was equally good with some other seller, and at this valuation, I would have probably picked it up from somebody else. So, yes, it is correct, the JPL is in distress. That is the reason why they put the asset up for sale. If they had not been in distress, the asset would not have been up for sale.
So to call this a bailout plan between 2 related parties, as has been mentioned in the press release, would that be unfair?
It would be highly unfair.
Alright, what about the second part of the question?
Now the second part of the question is that, yes, the valuation of 6,500 crores looks high on the face of it, but as I told you, it is contingent upon 2 conditions. One is that they will provide 100% fuel security for the plant, and they will provide a PPA which gives us an assured return of a certain value. Now, if these 2 conditions are in place, I don't see any risk for JSW Energy.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.